Hello Internet and welcome to a Star Citizen video with Haverside. Today we are talking the rock. We're going to talk how to acquire it, how to mine with it, and more. So if you are new to Star Citizen, or perhaps you are keen on a mining career, then join me as I walk you through the steps to acquire it, mine with it, and profit with the rock. Also, if you want a chance to win a CAR Pisces with blue paint, then stick around to find out how. Are you ready? Let's go. The Grey Cat Rock, or the Remote Ore Collector, is a single-seat mining ground vehicle which comes with a powerful mining laser that also extracts ore. The rock is designed to mine larger mineral nodes beyond the reach of a hand tool, but also too small for a prospector or mole to handle. As a new player, renting the rock is easy to do. You need to head on over to a refinery station. For this, I recommend starting at Crew L1 near Crusader. And once you're there, find the refinery deck by heading down the elevators. Once you're there, head on to the refinery admin office where you'll find a Rantage rental terminal. These terminals allow you to rent specific ships depending on what they offer, so in this case a refinery will offer industrial style ships. Once you're there, we're going to access the terminal and we're going to rent two vehicles. The Grey Cat Rock is our primary vehicle, which we can rent for 4,299 AUEC. Then we're also going to rent a Cutlass for 34,631 AUEC per day. We need the Cutlass because we need a ship to carry the rock in. Why I recommend renting the ships for a day only is because the values shown for longer rental terms are wrong. It will charge you more than what it states. It's basically false advertising, so don't do it. Rent it for a day and then re-rent it once it expires. You're going to need both of these, so once you've rented them, go back up to the ASOP terminals and we're going to get prepped for picking up the rock. Whilst not required, you can also purchase the rock and Cutlass by heading over to Hurston and landing at Lawville. Once you're landed at Lawville, at the Vantage rental kiosk, take a right and head on down to the New Deal shop. Within here, at the rear of the workshop, is a sales terminal where you can purchase the Cutlass and the rock. The Cutlass will set you back just under 1.4 million and the rock will cost you 172,000. It's not recommended to do this. You can actually save your cash for bigger things like the Prospector. Okay, so you've got your Cutlass, you've spawned it from the ASOP terminal, and now we're going to get going. So to activate the ramp, click on the buttons on the sides of the ramp, and it will come down. And remember to close this once you're inside. You don't want any counterparts following you and killing you in your travels. That would be really, really bad. Once you're there, get in the ship's pilot seat and get your ship launched. One thing I would recommend when you're leaving Crew L1 station, if you are basing out of the Crew L1 Lagrange point, is to not set your destination until you actually get out of the station. The reason for this is I often find that you can actually bug the navigation and it will actually think the station is a destination point, which makes moving to Crusader very difficult. Once you're launched and you're outside of the station's no-fire zone, open up your Mobi-Glass and set Daymar as your destination, which is one of the moons outside of Crusader. I recommend Daymar as a starting location for rock mining, as you'll find that the actual environment is quite safe for doing so without any specialist equipment. You can take the rock, you can take a standard EVA suit and just head over there and crack away. Whilst there are some dust storms and higher temperatures, which do give you a warning that you have, sustainability of life for like an hour, you've got plenty of time to get back into your ship. Once you're at Daymar, we're going to need to head over to the Shubin mining facility, SCD-1, and pick up the rock. So make sure you're heading over there first, because without it, we can't make any money. Once you arrive at the Shubin mining facility, look out for this blue building. Well, I say blue building, the building with the blue markers. That is the Platinum Bay building, and next to it are two cargo pads, landing pads, whatever you want to call them, where we can spawn the rock. So what you'll want to do is just land your Cutlass nearby so we can get the rock from the pad into the ship. Once you're landed, get out of your pilot seat and start exiting the vehicle. Be mindful, if there are players around, not to leave your ramp down because of course someone could go on, steal your ship and all that. Once you're out of the ship, head on into the Platinum Bay building, and what we're looking for is an ASOP terminal within this little building that allows us to spawn ground vehicles, so the rock in this example. Access it. You'll need to do a claim initially on the first rock that you spawn, because where you've not owned it, it will want you to claim it, so claim it, it will then allow you to spawn it at this location. So just go ahead and spawn it, and it will spawn it onto the pad in front of us. Then all that's left to do is to exit the little Platinum Bay building and head into the rock itself. Just enter the driving seat by interacting with the sea and getting in it. Activate the ship with the R button, just as when you're flying a ship for the first time, which will initiate the ship and get it ready for use. All you got to do now is to get it into the rock. Just take it steady. I prefer using the external camera. It just makes it a little bit easier to go in and out with the actual rock. Once the rock's on board, that is Operation Retrieve the Rock completed. So now we want to go mining. So first of all, we need to find gems to do this. We're going to be mining gemstones, specifically Hadonite. I recommend you pop up to the OM1 marker, though you don't have to. You can just literally pick any point of interest on the planet, fly to it, and then head off in a random direction and search for mineable gems. The joy with the OM1 marker is that when you fly up to this and then fly down to the planet, if you head up to the right hand side, you'll literally be in daytime, and you will be in daytime for a longer period of time. Not just this, Hadonite gems generally spawn around mountain ranges, so you'll literally find that there is a mountain range at the OM1 poles, so you can fly on down and head towards the mountain range and start looking for Hadonite gems there and then. But have a side, I hear you ask, how do we find these Hadonite gems? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's go through that now. So to begin with, you need to know how to scan. So we do a scan by hitting the tab button. That will send out a ping to the literal area, and it will scan the area for gems, ore deposits, and whatnot else. You can adjust the scan angle using the comma and period keys. Now, I recommend you set this to 90 degrees because the idea here is that you're going to travel in one direction, and literally just one direction. So if it's set to 90 degrees, it will scan it at a 90-degree angle from your cursor's location. So as we're going forward, you will literally scan the area in front of you. As you proceed to start scanning, you're looking out for the little HUD icon that will appear as you find ore deposits and gems. Now, ore deposits will appear the furthest away. They can spawn on your HUD from 6 kilometers to 10 kilometers, but you can also find the gemstones, which is what we're after, that will spawn anywhere from 1 to 5 kilometers usually, like this one that just appeared on the left-hand side here. So once you've found these ones, these are the ones you're after, ones that spawn on your HUD within 5,000 kilometers, you'll want to head over to them. But if the cluster is 3 or less for Hadonite, I wouldn't even bother, because you want to make sure that you are spending your time valuably. And with Hadonite being the most valuable gem that we can mine at 275 AUEC per unit, it's worth making sure you focus on that. But you can mine absolutely anything you want, but if you're mining amorphite or dolomite, I wouldn't recommend stopping for anything less than a 5 cluster deposit, as it simply isn't worth your time. Gemstone deposits can spawn anywhere from 1 deposit up to 14 deposits on one patch. Obviously, the more the better. The best way to approach this is literally head in one direction, pick a heading from your heading icon at the top, pick a number, and just move in that direction until you find something. Like this patch here that spawned on the right hand side, this patch here turned into be about a 6 or 7 cluster, which was fantastic for this example. Of course, before we set down to mine it, we just need to find out what it is. So we're going to initiate the scan mode by pressing V, and then getting close enough so we can just check the contents of the actual gemstone deposit. We do that by just holding left mouse click while it scans, and you can see on the left display it's coming up with all the information, and then on the right hand side it will display the actual content. So in this case, we were lucky enough to find Hadonite. So now we've found a Hadonite cluster, we need to set the ship down and get the rock out so we can commence with our mining session. With the rock out of the Cutlass, you are now in a position to mine, so we need to enable the mining mode, but first make sure you get the rock into a decent position so you can actually mine multiple rocks, just moving around. Yeah, well, it's easy enough to do. Bit of a pain in the ass, so get into a good position and then activate your mining mode with the M button. And then to activate the laser, we just left click. To up the power, we need to do the mouse wheel up to up the power. To lower the power, we just do mouse wheel down. That controls up and down on the laser's power. The idea of the game here is to make sure that we are getting the power level to the optimal area, which is the green zone below the overcharge zone. We do not want to go into overcharge because any overcharge risks not only hurting us, but also scattering your gems further away, or just literally blowing up the rock so you don't get any content or a reduced amount because you overcharged it. So just keep it within the green optimal charge zone and the bar will fill up. Once it fills up to the maximum fill, the gem will explode, and then that is then ready to collect. But what I would recommend you do is just take the time to mine the entire patch. Mine each single gem before you start extracting any ore at all. What you might find if you come along a massive cluster, like a 14 pack, you might find that as you open all the gems, your FPS might take a little hit because there's just so much on the floor. But of course, this is an alpha game. Alpha has bugs. It is what it is. With the last rock mined, you can now start to collect your deposits. So you'll need to initiate the extraction mode by using the right click button, which will change the laser mode, and then just left click to initiate the laser again. What you'll want to do is hold the laser in position over a cluster of the gems that are iconed on the actual ground of the planet now you've cracked all the deposits. As you do so, after a second or two it will start extracting. Now, what I tend to find is once they're actually starting to extract into the laser, I can move the mouse ever so gently around the deposits and it keeps a steady flow of the gems coming into the actual extraction laser. But what you might find is it flies a couple off like this. It is completely up to you whether you take the time to collect a single gem that has been flung away. Honestly, the time it takes to do so really isn't worth doing if you're going to get the odd one fling far away. That's just the nature of this game mode at this time. I do think they need to work on the extraction of the lasers on the rock, but that of course will come in the future. There's no special art to collecting the gems. Literally, once you've picked them all up, that is the mining session complete. Get the rock back into the Cutlass and you can get on the way to finding another rock cluster. At this point in time, you have now passed basic training for acquiring, using and profiting in a rock. But before you get too carried away, I wanted to give you an example of what happens when you overcharge a rock. So I've just blown up the first rock here in this patch, and you can see that the little packet of gems spawned literally around the gem spawn deposit. But if you overcharge the rock even slightly, they kind of go everywhere. Once you've filled up your rock to max capacity, I highly recommend you head over to Port Olisar, which is in the same area as Crusader, and land at Port Olisar, which is an orbital station around the planet itself. Once you're there, you can sell your gems for a profit. So we're going to jump over there now. It's literally a hop, skip and a jump away. Once you're there, land as normal, and then you'll want to head inside and find the admin office. But before you find the admin office, you'll want to use the ASOP terminals first to store your ship. This will ensure that the materials that you have taken time to collect are stored safe and cannot be destroyed or lost. You don't have to use Port Olisar either. You can go to anywhere that has an admin office. I simply prefer Port Olisar as I can refuel here, I can also eat and drink, and the admin office is literally right next to the ASOP terminals. All you need to do is access the trading console, click on the sell tab, select the Grey Cat rock from the source location, and then the Hadnite there will be available to sell. Click on it, scroll up how many you want to sell, and you can see in this case we've made 223,000, which is great. And ideally we want to be achieving this within an hour of gameplay, but of course RNG is RNG, and you really cannot trust the Hadnite clusters to spawn when you want them to. So it might take longer, it might take less. As long as you have fun mining, it doesn't matter how long it takes. Enjoy it. Now, a video would not be complete without some recommendations. So for recommendation number 1, when you are experienced enough and you are comfortable with mining in the rock, get a Pembroke suit from the refinery terminal and head over to Aberdeen, which is in Hurston. The rocks appear in a much higher abundance, but the planet is a lot more unstable. You have bad weather and a very high temperature planet, so you'll need this suit to keep you alive. Recommendation number 2 is that you do not need to rent the Cutlass if you have another option available. So if you pledged for a Nomad, or perhaps you have a Freelancer Max, even a Mercury Star Runner or a Valkyrie, these are all viable ships for carrying the rock without the need to rent the Cutlass. As mentioned earlier, you can buy this ship in Lorville should you want to, along with the Cutlass, though you really don't need to. I really recommend you save up that money and work towards buying a Prospector, which is the next ship within the industrial mining chain that you really want to be aiming for. Also, do not buy this ship on the pledge store. I should say this vehicle on the pledge store. There's no need, it's a waste of money, and you simply can buy something better if you wanted to pledge for something else. Don't do it, there's just simply no reason to. Add to this that the rock costs $66 prior to any taxes on the pledge store. You are wasting money there. You can earn this in-game with in-game currency within an hour of game time with the rock, just mining with a rented ship, if you really want to go out your way to purchase this ship. Number 4, be picky. When you're searching for Hadnite and you want to mine Hadnite, just go for Hadnite. If you're mining for other things, then be my guest, go for that. But if you come along things like a 2-pack cluster or a 3-pack cluster of Hadnite, decide whether you want to take the time to mine it or whether you want to carry on and find a bigger patch, because trust me, there's always a bigger patch. My recommendation is 3 or more and always go for Hadnite. Recommendation number 5 is to sell often. If you experience a 30k while mining in the rock, you have lost everything. It doesn't save it in your storage, it doesn't do anything with it, it is lost to the ether. So make sure you sell often. I recommend once you've filled up your rock to the max, head over to Port Olisar or a station where you can sell at an admin terminal and earn your credits. Thank you for watching my video today, and you have successfully made it through basic training of using a rock. As promised earlier, we are doing a giveaway on this channel with our big push to 1,000 subscribers. So all you need to do is click the link in the description, follow the instructions and gain your entries by completing different actions. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we will announce the winner, and could it be you? You could be winning the C8X Pisces alongside a Code Blue paint job with lifetime insurance. So to get a head start, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel for more videos, and click that bell icon to receive notifications on when I release new videos. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video today, and let me know in the comments how much you've earned using the rock. I hope to see you in the new year, and thank you everyone so much for your support with my channel. I look forward to making new videos, and I hope to see you in the next video.